Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, my honorable chairman, secretary, first examiner, second examiner, and third examiner. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Rena Eka Nurhidayanti, an English education student 2017, Universitas Negeri Semarang. On this occasion, I would like to present my final project entitled U-Dictionary Applications as a medium for improving students' pronunciation skills, a case of 10th graders of Semarang for senior high school in the academic year 2020 until 2021. Okay, first, Chapter 1 Introduction. Background of the study. In the 7th semester, the researcher have to do a teaching internship or praktik pengalaman lapangan (PPL) online in Semarang for senior high school. The researcher found students' difficulties in learning English, especially in the 10th graders who have difficulty in learning pronouncing English. Many students still couldn't pronounce a few words correctly. For example, when the researcher asked students to read the text one by one, they pronounce the word B-L-O-O-D. It is blood, not blood, which was incorrect. As a tool to overcome this problem, the researcher provides dictionary applications that exist in this technology era. It is U-Dictionary applications because these applications could effective the student not only hear the sounds but also see the transcriptions of words with stress, rhythm, pitch, and intonations based on what the speaker said. From that, the researchers hopes that these applications would be the right medium to improve students' pronunciation skill. And the second is reasons for choosing the topic. English is one of the languages that must be mastered in the era of globalizations. English has a brilliant role in gathering people because it is one of the languages that many people understand and communicate with each other. In learning English, pronunciation is one aspect that plays an important role. Pronunciations directly impacts the communicative competence of learners as well as their overall performance. Appropriate pronunciations can increase a person's confidence level and make a good impression on the listeners. Meanwhile, bad pronunciations can limit people from social interactions and cause misunderstanding in communication. And because in this industrial era 4.0, many technologies are used for helping everyone do activities. A mobile phone is one of the primary tools that almost every person have. One of the features is supporting the learners in learning English, including pronunciations. The phone itself has several features, such as application. So, there is an appropriate application that is used to improve pronunciations, U-Dictionary. U-Dictionary is a simple applications that can be used online or offline. And it has a voice features, English UK and US accents, and also has many words that can be spelled in phonetic forms with the stress and correct intonations. So it is easier for a student to know what word is exactly pronounced by the speakers. Okay, from that, the statements of the problems that will be solved through this study are the first, how does the use of the U-Dictionary applications affect students' improvement in pronunciation skills? And to what extent can the use of the U-Dictionary applications improve the students' pronunciation skills? Based on the statement of the problem above, the objectives of this study are the first, to analyze whether the use of U-Dictionary applications can improve students' pronunciation skill or not, and then to find out to what extent of U-Dictionary applications can improve students' pronunciation skills. Next, significance of the study. Theoretically, this study is expected to develop U-Dictionary applications in the teaching learning process to improve pronunciations and hopefully it can be used as a different source of research reference. And then practically, this research is able to give a better way for teacher and students. For the teachers, will have information about using U-Dictionary applications and understand how this application works. And for students, using the U-Dictionary applications can be used to help students motivate and develop better English pronunciation skills. And then pedagogically, this result of this research is useful to inform the readers about using U-Dictionary applications as a medium for improving student pronunciation skill. Okay, next we go to chapter 2. It is a review of the related literature, review of previous study, the first one. Here, the previous study that presents some relevant and supporting information for the research, the first from Awalia 2013. The result of this research was the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary 3, or CAL 3, was an application that has simplified and purposeful features for developing pronunciations. It can also grow up the awareness of the teachers and learners to seize on the technology for academic area, especially application software for engage such skill. And then the second from Darmawan and Sanyati 2016, they said that the students made poor pronunciation with some words which have cluster sounds and with some sound which didn't exist in their mother tongue. The student confused on the distributions of the same phonetic features in English and Indonesian. And finally, they made improvements on some words using audio-visual assisted text. And then the third from Haryadi S. and Apriyonoto 2020, the result of the study reveals that the integration of English pronunciation applications in the teaching pronunciation enhances the student participations consisting of engagement, attitude, and behavior. It also had a positive effects on the self-learning for a large number of students. And then the last from Andira 2021, the result was the applications of the British Council podcast application in the classroom not only improve student pronunciations, but also this application trains student listening and speaking skills. Okay, from the studies mentioned above, we know that several studies have been conducted that are concerned about how to improve students' pronunciations by using various media. So, it reflects previous research that researchers want to conduct this U-Dictionary application as a medium for improving pronunciation skill. Okay, the next we go to review of theoretical studies. The first one is pronunciation. According to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary in Hornby 2020, page 1164, pronunciation is a way in which the language or a particular word or sound is pronounced. Pronunciation is the productions of sounds that create meaning. And then the second, pronunciations problems. According to Ramalan 2003, page 4 said that learning language has been deeply implanted in him as part of his habits. It will be difficult for him to change the habit of moving his speech organ in such a way to produce the foreign sounds. As we know that Indonesian students often face problems in learning English pronunciation, because since childhood we speak in our mother tongue and we will automatically repeat the language. And the next, teaching pronunciation. It is according to Harmer 2019 stated that focusing on sound, the sound is produced in the mouth so that student will be aware of the words that need to be stressed. And after that, they get more information about spoken English and help them to improve their explanations and understanding of language. And then next, it is pronunciation features. In this study, the primary features of pronunciation to be discussed is segmental. Adapted from Ramulan 2003, the segmental features consist of three kind of aspects. They are vowels, diphthongs, and consonants. The first one is vowels. A pure vowels is vowels in the production whose organ of the speech remain in a definite position for a considerable time. Okay, the vowel sounds are long E, A, or long short and etc. And then a diphthong is a sort of vowel sound that has a unique functions, that is, there is a deliberate glide from one vowel position to another position in the same syllable. For example, ear, and a, oi, I, and etc. And then consonants is a sounds that doesn't include vowel sounds. For example, such as b, m, v, th, z, ch, and etc. Okay, the next one is the importance of pronunciations. Based on Burns and Clare 2003, defined that clear pronunciation in oral communication is essential. And then mobile media, in accordance with OS 2014, state that use of mobile media currently is a new type of learning for learners because they can use anywhere and anytime by using the internet and mobile technology. And then the last one is U-Dictionary application. According to Kaiser in May Sarah 2020, states that mobile technology can significantly enhance students' pronunciations. A word defining with the English Dictionary assisted pronunciations application, such as U-Dictionary application. The U-Dictionary application is a mobile media that is available for free and can be downloaded for Android and smartphone platforms. And the U-Dictionary applications has been downloaded by more than 100 million users worldwide. It can search for definition through Collins Dictionary or Wikipedia, and the U-Dictionary application has several aspects that can support students in learning English, such as translate words or sentence using a camera, and then learn English from videos and smartphones lock screen, play games, do some quiz, and read English article. And then next slide is theoretical framework. In this research, the research uses an experimental research. The researcher aims to establish that one variable, the independent variables, causes changes in another variable, the dependent variable. And then the researcher divides the student into the experimental group and the control group. After that, the researcher does a pronunciation pretest to both groups, then provides the experimental group with a treatment using the U-Dictionary applications. Next, the researcher assesses the result of each group on the dependent variables through post-test pronunciation. Okay, now we go to chapter 3. It is method of investigations. The first one is research design. In this study, the research conducted quantitative research. In constructing research design, this study involves two groups, the experimental and control groups. Each group consists of one class. The control class applied standard learning instructions, and the experimental group will be given treatment using U-Dictionary applications. And then for populations here is the 10th graders of Semarang for Senior High School in the academic year of 2020 until 2021. The class consists of 11 classes with a total number of students are 376 students, and each class has 36 students. And for the sample, two classes which consist of 72 students. The researchers divided them into the experimental groups and control groups. It is class 10 MIPA 2 and 10 MIPA 5. And then for research variables, the researcher used two kind of variables. The first one is independent variables, U-Dictionary applications. And the dependent variable, it is students' pronunciation skills. And the next slide, it is hypothesis. There are two kind of hypotheses here. The new hypothesis, the U-dictionary applications as medium cannot improve students' pronunciation skills at the 10th graders of Semarang 4 Senior High School. And then the alternative hypothesis, U-dictionary applications as a medium can improve students' pronunciation skill at the 10th graders of Semarang 4 Senior High School. And then for instruments of the research use pronunciation tests before and after treatment. And then for methods of collecting data, the researchers use the first observations. The researchers asked permission from the principal of Semarang for Senior High School and an English teacher. And then the second, pretest. The researcher gives a pretest to students before using the U-dictionary applications. And then the treatment, the researchers introduce the U-dictionary application to the students and how to use it. Students are asked to learn how to pronounce the words in English using the U-dictionary applications. And then the last, post-test. The post-test is given to students in two groups. It aims to find out the improvement in their pronunciations of English after treatment in learning process. Okay. And then the last is the technique of analysis data using IBM SPSS statistic 21 to calculate the normality, the homogeneity, and the t-test. Okay, next one is we go to chapter 4, findings and discussions. There are two tables here. The result of pretest and post-test, and then the left side is the experimental group, and then the right side it is the control group. Okay, for experimental group, the mean value was experimental group for 55.44, and the standard deviations was 5.88. Meanwhile, the mean of the post-test was 85.06, and the standard deviation was 5.91. And then in the control group, the mean score of pretest was 53.64 with a standard deviations 5.97, and the mean post-test score was 70.64 and the standard deviation was 5.97. Okay, next, the normality test. To check the normality of the pretest, the researcher used Kolmogorov-Smirnov, a normal distributions determined by p-value in SPSS is labeled significant, which must be higher than alpha 0.05. Based on the table, in the pretest, the p-value significant of the experimental group was 0.15, and the p-value significant of the control group was 0.20. So the data were considered to have normal distribution because the significance from the two groups were higher than 0.05. Okay, the next is for the normality of the post-test. The p-value significance of the experimental group 0.20 and the p-value significance of the control group 0.20. So the post-test from the both groups were considered to have normal contribution because the significance from the two groups were higher than 0.05. Next, we go to the homogeneity test. It is important to check whether the data were homogeneous or not from the two groups. So the homogeneity of variance determined that from p-value significant that must be higher than alpha 0.05, and in the pretest the significance was 0.90, was higher than 0.05. So it can be concluded that the data has homogeneous. And then in the post-test, the significance 0.883 was higher than 0.05. So the data also has homogeneous distribution. Okay, the next is the result of pre-test and post-test average scores of the experimental and control group. The table above showed that the number of pre-test average differences between the experimental group and control group was 1.79. Meanwhile, the average post-test difference between the experimental group and control group was 14.41. Then, the differences between pre-test and post-test results in the experimental group was 29.61 and the control group was 16.99. And the results showed that the differences between the pre-test and post-test students after treatment became more effective than standard learning instructions. Okay, the next is the t-test result analysis. The t-test is a test to calculate the significant differences between the student's pre-test and post-test mean value. In the t-test, if the p-value is 2 or significant total lower than 0.05, the data is significant. But if the p-value was higher than 0.05, the data is not significant. From the table above, the t-test result stated that significant total is 0.00. Therefore, the result stated that table significant was lower than 0.05. Then it can be concluded that there is significant differences between before and after treatment. So, the alternative hypothesis was accepted and null hypothesis is rejected. Okay, now we go to discussions. The U-Dictionary applications implementations affect students' pronunciation achievement. From the test analysis, the post-test score was higher than the pre-test. In the normality test, the data from the pre-test and post-test was considered to have normal distributions. And in the homogeneity test, the data from the pre-test and post-test has homogeneous distributions. And then in the t-test analysis, it can be concluded that there is a significant differences between before and after treatment. Next, here are the strengths and weaknesses of U-Dictionary applications that the researcher found during the implementations. The first one in the strength. The first, available for free, easy to access, and then easy to use, many features, and can be beneficial for users. It can be used from beginner, intermediate, and advanced level, give good detailed info, and audio transcriptions. And then the weaknesses, needs internet connection to download the offline package, and it has many ads, and translate by taking pictures, not all words are read. Okay, knowing the strengths and weaknesses of the dictionary applications, the researchers hope that both teachers and learners can minimize the disadvantage point in the future learning. In addition, this study can encourage students for using U-Dictionary applications as a mobile media in improving correct pronunciation. Okay. Now we go to the last chapter, chapter 5. It is conclusions and suggestions. Conclusions. The researchers concluded that the U-Dictionary applications as a medium for improving students' pronunciation skill is accepted. The student score results improved further after students were given treatment. Thus, there was a significant differences in improving student pronunciation skills, although everyone's pronunciation has different difficulties. The researcher proves that the U-Dictionary applications can be useful, especially for students. Students become more active in practicing their pronunciations through the U-Dictionary applications. It can be concluded that the U-Dictionary applications can be used to improve pronunciation skill properly. Therefore, the researcher hopes that this study can develop pronunciation skill for teachers and learners. Okay. Based on the conclusion above, there are some suggestions here. The first one, for theoretically, this study can be used as a useful reference and source to support other research. And then practically, this research offers a better way for teachers and students to explore the applications. Teachers can also apply the dictionary application to practice pronunciation for students, and students can use the applications well because it can improve their pronunciations. And for the last, pedagogically, this result in the study is beneficial for informing the readers, and it will achieve better understanding and learning outcomes in pronunciations. I think that's all my presentations. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.